Ladies and gents, it's Killjadi DeMu time. Always a fun matchup, whether on ladder or in tournament. And here in tournament, they're going to be meeting up in the quarterfinals. Benny Boy looking favorable with the HRE into the Delhi. But this map is looking quite scary for Delhi. And the difference is HRE have been taking a dump on Delhi on Pro Scouts maps. That's right. We need to get a shot clock for every time I mention those words. We're not on a Pro Scouts map. We're on Oases, only 12 deer in total. So Delhi might have some potential plays to lean into here. Sheep count on the beginning is going to be fairly even. Looks like actually Dumu's going to get a slight edge with his rotation. And we do have the Dome of Faith build, so not trying to pivot into some Tower of Victory shenanigans. Arkan is going to be coming in on the gold, has got the tree line as well. Likely we're going to be seeing the classic HRE farm build up. A little bit worrisome because the thing that's been making HRE look good in this matchup is their ability to go spears and then flood men-at-arms after some horsemen as well. Can't really do that without Pro Scouts. He's not cleanly. And this right here, the Hourglass is Piety. Piety is pretty busted. So a lot of the time when you think about the text from the Delhi mosque that seems absurd, the one that people will reference is Sanctity, right? I actually think the more broken ones are piety and military efficiency. So military efficiency is pretty obvious, right? Like, you know, you drop a scholar inside a building, double production. That's wild in the opening of the game. It allows you to surge more units than any other civ can really match at a cheap, efficient price. On top of that, you can ungarrison, re-garrison different buildings. You can basically adjust on the go. It's like a micro economy within the economy of efficiency. And then there's piety. Piety to me is still also wild. You're taking a 90 health unit and giving it a 40 health increase. That's almost a 50% increase health on a unit that has no counters. Which is pretty important in the early game because unless you're playing a night spamming civ, that means you don't have an easy way of killing scholars. So yeah, piety, very, very good. You know what? Delhi so far have looked really, really good on this map. Especially because of this. I said it's a map where you can't pro scouts. There is an exception. When it's for free. And no, the counter I say you make to piety, same with military efficiencies. Imagine how different Delhi are if you can only get these techs in feudal. That kind of changes the game, right? I'd say still let them have their mosque and they can research wheelbarrow in Dark Age, but like slow the other crap down. Or maybe you just experiment with one, like put military efficiency into feudal age. Changes the game quite a lot. Because then, like, your sanctity timing gets delayed. And, you know, previous Delhi, I kind of understand why you wouldn't want to do that. They were kind of all in feudal as the only play. But new Delhi, capable of bigger and scarier things. Now, people are going to object to this because currently Delhi are pretty abysmal. When you look at the win rate in competitive, in the EGC Masters Winters, they were sitting at, like, what, 14% win rate? Not great. However, what I would remind people of is that we are neck deep in the Pro Scouts meta. Delhi also is just kind of being misfielded, I think, in the tournament. And once the Pro Scouts meta gets nerfed, this civ is going to go back to top. Ghazi, definitely a good step in the right direction as to why. Raid already coming in. DeMu has immediately committed to the double racks, and we already have men-at-arms coming through. DeMu has made this work before without Pro Scouts. I think it was usually delayed. But he does eventually get it, right? In this game, it doesn't seem viable, so what's the goal? My worry here is if you're just going to men-at-arms flood, can your opponent not play wide and block you when you come to food? Which means you have to go farms, right? Farms is going to hinder your push point. Nice raid in there. Even gets a worker kill. I'm the best British caster for AoE4. Wow. I mean, there's not really many of us, but thank you. It's weird, actually. You'd think, as British, we're kind of everywhere in esports for commentary roles. We suck when it comes to competing, but boy, do we make a lot of grand finals in the caster booth. Notice DeMu likes the barracks heavy HRE. I've seen it as well. It's not the first time he's done it, but once again, to reiterate, like the games where we've seen him do it, you're talking things like Rocky River, where you can do Pro Scouts, right? Not Oases, which is a bit more limiting of a map. So Benny Boy. It's going to have to worry about the Pro Scouts play hoovering up the goodies in about 30 seconds. I wonder. I mean, Kildare, does he ever have to stop building just Ghazi? Right? I think unless you see a lot of spam and you don't actually care, he has got the archers out. But it's not really your scale point here. The good news for DeMu is he's at least blocking Sacred Site caps, right? We're 8 minutes in, there's not a move out for them. Bad news is he still has to make that farm transition. It is currently underway. So he's starting to get the economy stabilized to allow for more men-at-arms spam. Currently, he doesn't really have enough to beat Ghazi. Another thing that's interesting is the melee techs are on the way. DeMu, he only went for the undermesh. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense against the archers, right? And for a dive. We've already got the Scholar Pool here, so Kildare is going to have to heal in the fights. Like the extra little bit of tickle damage coming in. Ghazi are going to pull away just in time. The archers getting rid of the limited spears here. Man, that top off. I think this is the awkward thing about posturing early against Delhi. It's like when you don't have that ability to force this big mosh pit where a lot of things are going to die instantly, that's where the healing for the Delhi looks most absurd. And then when you have to retreat like this, I mean, sure, you got marching drills, but it's no match for the cavalry. This wallop's definitely hurting a little. Just backing the entire way up. Does have the melee defense. Has got the melee attack coming. He's not going to want to turn around at all now with only one spearman left. And that does mean that Kildare now has access to sacred sites. Maybe it's at least formulating. Kildare, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him move out into the pocket economies. In fact, we already see that happening onto the berries. He's going to have the fish nearby as well. I'll be surprised he actually should go for the drop there to make it a bit more efficient. But I guess with the east side leaning, it's not worth it. You might as well just build 2 mills. Alright, 1s if you think DeMu's going to win this. 2s if you think Kildare's going to take it. I get the idea from Ben. I don't think he stopped the Ghazi scaling enough yet, though. It's also a case of if you ever back up, the Ghazi raid easier than you do, right? So you kind of have to commit. Hucken's at least fleshing out a little bit. Ben now up to like 13 farms. And we're doing some weed old school hybridization HRE with the mass farming. I mean, this was kind of the way they used to cook the mass men-at-arms build back in the day, right? Before Ghazi was added to the game, this strategy was the best way to just annihilate Delhi. You'd scale up to 40 men-at-arms and go castle. And they had no answer. Then the Ghazi got introduced, and all of a sudden this was a matchup, once dominant for HRE, which just became almost impossible to win. Good interceptions. Just kind of using that maneuverability again. We do have a blocker on the sacred sites. I feel like we're at the point where DeMu could consider castle. It would actually be a really solid move from here. He's definitely starting to macro up for it, right? Has the walls up. Has kind of divided that raid potential. However, the villagers do get stuck on the outside. Okay, this actually matters a lot. A 6 worker kill losses so far in this game. Now, HRE's economy is still very powerful. Can make up the difference with the 40% buffer. But with the inefficiency of the earlier trades, you have at least admittedly stopped your opponent getting sacred sites, but you haven't stopped him from now being efficient on his tech timing. Right? Because he's still been scaling scholars. He's always getting the Ghazi away, so you can always just pull them back to heal. And once that tech up occurs, remember, this is an HRE Delhi matchup. It's volatile on the relics. HRE needs them. Delhi can immediately get all of them. How's Dome versus Tower of Victory affect the matchup? I think Dome is just better in general now against HRE here. Like, TOV, like, what you're really doing, you're still going to be blobbing archers into men-at-arms. You could argue the Spearmen contest MA better, but you just get this healing factor. I think against HRE specifically, because of how good Ghazi are at dealing with what HRE usually try to do here with Long Feudal, Dome of Faith should always be the superior choice. And there is an argument for if your opponent goes mine work. But that very rarely gets explored in this matchup. Bergrave now coming in. DeMu, he's not playing for relic control at all. Which is surprising for a man who has 17 men at arms right now. When the dive comes in, he sees him. He stops the timing. What a hit point here. And the rally, what the fuck is doing? He traps them against the house. Killjadi on fire in game number 1. That's an additional 5 worker kills. A blocker to the tech up, and now a raid onto the farms. DeMu's entire game plan now in shambles. Mass Spearman coming in to try and pad the difference, but the timing has already passed here. It's the rise of the Finn and the fall of the fake Swede. Game 1, and Killjadi seems to have it in the palm of his hands here. With a 16 worker lead. That's crazy. That's not even the full army. The second wave is now coming. You're seeing a commitment on the other side as DeMu looking for the dive point, but House of Learning is now on the way. Unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't as much pathing partially, but the more important part is that house. DeMu, he didn't delete it, right? If he deleted it, he would have been able to maybe get away from that. Tricky detail to realize in that type of fight, and still a delay of a few seconds to get it done. All of a sudden, your forward army just not really feeling that viable to get damage done, right? Like, the Ghazi mass is still big enough to conflict against you. Same with the archers. Veterancy has been queued up. Men-at-Arms upgrade coming in 5 seconds. Spearman can be mirrored as well. He has got the gold for it. However, I don't think he has the dive point here. Not with the fact that Killjadi pulled the army home. This could have been a dive-for-dive interaction, but it would have been bad for Killjadi considering how much DeMu already lost. So instead, Killjadi makes the correct call to come home and defend. Only 7 spearmen. Tech up, complete. Archers just want those spears gone so the guys can commit in. We haven't got veterancy queued up. Killjadi's more focused on getting the crossbows out. Spear count looking non-existent. Only 3 left, and the Ghazi are in. That's way too many. He's even thinking about maybe getting the shivs out. Instead, he's running past, just looking for resources. This was meant to be DeMu's timing. The mass men-at-arms into the flood, into the kill. It achieves nothing. 2 worker kills is pathetic in the grand scheme of this game. And there's the relic snatch. Killjadi immediately starts pulling back 4 of the 5. Crazy how different this matchup can be when you haven't got pro scouts on the menu. Just not the food pump. And, you know, it really is the difference here. When you consider DeMu added 17 farms. Lofty amount of food investment, over 1,000 in fact. That puts you like 10 MAA plus weaker than what you'd be with pro scouts play. Warlord's now coming in to slow things down. DeMu, I don't think he's going to be able to stop these relics. Killjadi, he just queued up the veterancy for the remaining Ghazi. Not really as much about them anymore. It's about the fact that DeMu just doesn't really have an existent force. Burgrave is not a build for HRE that's beneficial for long play. It's a timing attack. And we've been looking at this castle play for a few minutes now, right? Like 2 or 3 minutes. The timing is passed. The crossbow counter is already in. Killjadi will be open in this series with an impressive display of Delhi dominance. Yeah, at this point, DeMu's just kind of processing it, right? I mean, in theory, like 840 food income, you kind of want to go to bat for it, but the crossbows need to be answered, and he doesn't have the ways of answering that, right? He's got 8 racks' worth of production. What do you build against crossbows? Wait, you guys actually take the fake Swede thing that seriously? Got a whole discussion about nationalities going on? Blimey. So wait, if he becomes a true Swede though, does that then make him a fake Brit? He's gonna start pronouncing words with the funny A's and O's with the squiggles on top correctly. Sorry, I don't know the official name for those like letters. I just know it does weird things like turns words like trolls into tools. There they are, the AAOs. Aren't all Brits fake? Well, aren't all Americans just fake? Aren't they all just secretly British people speaking a different accent? Checkmate, sir. Checkmate. Drop coming in. Also, I'm pretty sure the argument would be the fake French. Fake. It's complicated. Migrations and crap. Keep drop now coming in from Kiljardi. I mean, DeMu was maybe like, I can play the long con, I can go Imperial, pass a Swabia. Against Kiljardi, I don't think you have that type of time. He does see it, which means he's gonna have to dive out into, oh god, it's a War Elephant. Now, you'd think a War Elephant would lose against spears and heavy maces. Think again. One elephant versus the world. I mean, the Lancers are at least dying quick enough. But this bad boy is eternal. That should be enough to convince him. I mean, I guess he was like, there's no elephants yet. There's hope. He will be able to bring it down, but there's too much army loss. Keep dropping. And with double tree line forward, DeMu now is officially out of critical resources. He need to go straggler tree lines, and they're too far away. I mean, props to him, right? I think this game was borderline over. He did at least try to find a way back in. But with double sacred site control, village fortress is on the way. The army size difference, and the fact that your farms are now pinned. Right, that this should be the unrecoverable point. Who would want to willingly speak Scottish? You're right. They're trapped in the hills. They just couldn't escape it. And then, yeah, doesn't that mean like everyone is technically fake Africans, I think? I'm pretty sure that's how that like chain of thought ends. So we're going to speed this up a lot. Because once the farms are accessed, this is over. I mean, he's oh no. He tried to pocket eco, he got seen. Wait, is DeMu just sending it into the enemy base? I mean, I guess, like, if he's gonna attack your base, you attack his, right? It's like if someone calls my mum fat, I'm calling their mum fat too. I don't care if she's a lovely lady. Wallow coming through. Oh, we got another Wallow. Oh my god, no! I'll just leave before that happens. Well, this is all going really deep tonight, isn't it? Now we're getting into discussions about the origins of mankind and whether it's Africa. I'm still debating that DeMu is actually becoming more German than he is actually Swedish, considering we've got HR into Order the Dragon. Came to Ayyubids versus OOTD is an interesting one, actually. Relic race orientation is what you're expecting, but OOTD plays a little bit different. We're going to use 2x speed just to get into the feudal age. Typically, for Ayyubids, it's about relics. For Order the Dragon, less so, unless they can play a longer feudal. In fact, more recently, we've been seeing a lot more Burgrave builds for OOTD instead of Regnants, considering it can save you, with Military Academy, about 400 resources in production costs with non-stop pumping, right, per minute. So it kind of gives you that Regnants-esque effect. Admittedly, isn't just all gold, but still has some flex. Everyone here all come from a Drongo stream? No, they came from a Beastie stream. Shout out to my boy for the raid. What part of the UK am I from? I'm from Suffolk. I'm a tratter boy. We should sound like this, and we should be farming in the backlands. I'm basically your stereotypical English picker on the ladder, my lover. Just don't sound that way. Nah, I got the nasally, unpredictable voice. What? Okay, this is a counter to pro scouts, right? Someone in the chat was just saying they hate pro scouts. Welcome to the game where it's going to be coming out. Rocky River is the map. Order the Dragon are looking for that play. It's actually what's really enhanced them to be a more lethal threat. You know he's going for it because we already have a mill. All right, so gold being gathered up. Pro scouts seem to be on the way. Kiljardi, the Desert Raider will be decent at poking, but like the chase is going to be a little bit womp-womp, right? You're going to need additional units here. I feel like this is still going to be like Desert Raider for blind harass and then go fast castle. In theory, the idea is kind of intriguing against OTD because the counter would be build a horseman, idiot. But hey, don't call me an idiot. Those horsemen are expensive. They're 240 resources each. It's So that might make it difficult for DeMu to just knee-jerk say, screw these Desert Raider, I'm going to build a pony. Recent studies have shown KP is 1/8 Danish and 3/7 Icelandic. I can't believe you would suggest that I'm 1/8 pastry. And 3/8 Ice Cube. Where do you get these metrics? So, Gilded Horsemen are on the way. Looks like he actually made the wiggle space for it. That's really important. I mean, Killjoy is still going to get his Castle Age timing. He's having to build an outpost that... I don't know. I'm not sure if the Desert Raider was even worth it with the way this is going to play out now. I mean, in fairness, you did force your opponent to build a Gilded Horseman for 240, so you slowed it down a little bit. But the alternative would have been Dervish into Growth, right? Which would have given you a great timing to Vacuum Relics. And they're widespread enough, like, this is a weakness of OOTD. OOTD suck at crossing the map entirely, right? Like, at this early phase in the game, if you really hard push it, you could, by the time your opponent gets castle, get 4 to 5 horsemen. In theory, you could block out all these relics, but with the damage debuff on the camels, it doesn't play out that way. KB is watching Twitch or YouTube in terms of support for casters. I'm YouTube Premium, so I prefer it there. My recommendation, if you can, watch both. It definitely helps. So YouTube, from an ad revenue gen perspective, is better. But Twitch, from a metric standpoint, is better. The reason is that Twitch, the numbers impress more to advertisers than YouTube numbers because YouTube doesn't have a different way of publicly displaying live stream statistics, if that makes sense. Instead, what it shows you is views per video. And, like, although having 80, 90, 100 people watching on YouTube is strong compared to Twitch numbers, what it shows up as at the end for a stream might be like 1,000 views, which by CPM logic to a sponsor is bad, right? It's not a big number, really impressive. Yeah, like from what the platform pays you to watch ads, etc., YouTube better even with premium. I always recommend VODs. Guys, if you want to watch the VODs later, they are available on Twitch. I've left them there. There is currently a meta going on with Twitch streamers where they delete their VODs. Now, the reason for that is quite fair. The reason is that the VODs don't generate any revenue, but they have ads. Whereas YouTube VODs do generate revenue. So as a content creator, actually, I totally understand why people like getting rid of those. Anyway, we do have tech up on the way. Hope that answers your question. It is going to be Dervish, so no growth wing advantage, but he's going to have the triple Dervish play. Interesting. And DeMu, he did go double spear as well. So really solid answer to the Desert Raiders. Not really a diveable location here with just a single outpost. We do have Raxes on the way, so Kiljadi going to be going to the Ghoulims. 2 streams in the same time and mute one? Yeah, I think it's like... I think it still counts as a viewership as long as you have like the volume on Twitch on 1%. The way I always describe it to people was like... You know, I get what people are saying YouTube has slightly better looking streams. My point is, like, the way I see it is like people who watch YouTube, and I do check YouTube and respond to them semi-regularly, right? But the thing with YouTube is I feel like a lot of people watching there are maybe in the more chill, they're not looking to interact element. Twitch is still kind of the place to go if you want to interact, right? It's not that I don't look at YouTube, it's just like when I do, a lot of those people seem to be a bit more calm. I see YouTube as like the most obvious one would be when you're at work, you can watch YouTube live, whereas Twitch, you can't, because Twitch is more likely to be banned by your workplace, right? Whereas YouTube, they have to allow because you need that educational video on how to file under form 66B0156. So, tech out complete. Desert Raider is going to be able to poke this away. We don't have the Ghoulims yet. Interesting. DeMu is about to mirror the tech. I mean, you could just go Rignets from here. Can I have volume on 100% mute the tab? Not sure. You might count as a viewer. I know it keeps changing with Twitch. But it might work. But yeah, I think this is a game where Rignets could be viable. Yeah, like there's not enough pressure, right? This isn't the type of game where your opponent has 20-30 military and Rignets is a death sentence. The problem is it's triple Dervish already. So it could be a lot of relics already gone by the time you get your first Monk out, which is going to make this feel like a Monk-S build for DeMu. And yeah, I know it's crazy that Twitch VODs don't pay. I don't know why. They literally have no excuse. But like, this is kind of a recurring theme with certain financial elements of Twitch, right? Like, why does Twitch take 50% of a sub? Why does Twitch require you to have 100 unique subscribers to get 60% of the sub? Why does Twitch require you to have 300 unique subscribers subscribing themselves to get 70% of the sub? Right? And then there's a cost of bits and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, they need to make some money along the line. But also, just the ad revenue split is quite weird, considering it's much weaker than YouTube. It is polarizing, because, like, I think it would be fair to say, yeah, we're definitely, based on our statistics, in the top 1% of streamers on Twitch. But from Twitch alone, I don't make enough money to cover all my expenses. It's a very polarizing platform. Nice little blocker here. I mean, DeMu has got a lot of deer back already, right, with the Pro Scouts play. He went for the center ones first. He's got the ones in the corner that are going to be there. So, wait, what? Why can't I hear myself? Is YouTube playing audio? It is. There we go. Sorry. Survive off sponsors. That's the goal. The goal is to bring in some sponsors that can help generate revenue support. One of those key things, though, is a lot of sponsors will look for commission-based things. Like, a perfect example is a lot of energy drink sponsors will do commission-based things. The reason it's easy for them to scale, like, the thing is to get big deals, the contracts are involved, and then deliverables have to be targeted. And that means there's a lot more money involved in just monitoring, which is why a lot of different companies don't regularly support smaller streamers. But, you know, with the commission-based ones, it's about finding something that resonates with you guys, right? Like, you know, energy drink powder that you guys would want to buy, and then we get commissions off of that, for example. Other one is games. Games is a very obvious one for gaming creators. We talked about this before, like, it's interesting with esports fans, because esports fans are quite used to not having to spend money, right? So, it's that balance with what we do as a content creator to trying to not be, well, we are, like, obviously esports based, but obviously trying to lean into the content create side as well. Which is why, compared to when you listen to me in EGC, I'm right now talking to you guys, not just us casting the game. Now, speaking of the game, we do have Gundam Spam coming out. It's very late, though. DeMu already has the crossbow counter. Killjardy, at this point, he has got 4 relics, so he's pretty healthy with that. But now we need an eco-escalation here. Likely, we're going to be looking at 2 TC play. It is the classic one for Ayyubids. You have to probably take a good fight first, because otherwise DeMu could just go Imperial with Pastor Swabia. Shadow Legends and Horde. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is if you get baited in to what you see on like some platforms, where like you can earn up to $10,000 with this mobile game. You might notice the words "up to." A lot of those offers don't even give a base rate, which is bad. I mean, the best way I've heard sponsors described is like sponsors. Going and taking a sponsor is like spending a currency. The currency is trust that I build up with you guys. If I do it too regularly, and it's definitely not above the board, like perfect sponsor, etc., then we have a problem, right? And the challenge with gaming creators as well, is, especially if you're not like Shroud-sized, getting traditional sponsorships is difficult. Because like the logic is, what does, for example, Coca-Cola benefit from by sponsoring me or Beastie or DeMu or even EGC? Versus what they potentially lose because they don't have control of the campaign, right? So what you end up with is like the situation, like look at YouTube right now, the controversy around Honey. These almost more shady ones. It's not always shady, and that's what I really try to work my ass off on. It's not just taking the easy buck, but making sure that whatever brands I bring to you guys that I get involved with are brands that I trust and you can be able to trust too. Because if I compromise my integrity by bringing you a brand that is not trustworthy, and I've not done what I feel is fair diligence to make sure they're trustworthy, you now can't trust me. You shouldn't, right? Now, it doesn't mean I'm always going to get it perfect. It doesn't mean there's not going to be one that slips through occasionally, but it means that I make sure I do my damn well best to think about where the money's coming from and how any of it makes sense. Mango coming in from Killjardy. Interesting play. Gilded Crossbows should be able to snipe that, though. Uh-oh. Gotta be a little bit careful. Has to basically throw away a lot of spears to try and trade out against the crossbows. If DeMu wants to be disgusting about this, scaling prelates is sick. Inspired warriors plus the healing completely negates the play from Killjardy. Retirement home sponsorship? True. That's the other challenge. It's not like I can go for Fortnite Zoomer type sponsorships. I don't know. How many of you guys actually drink energy drinks? I'm curious. That's an interesting thought because of how big Red Bull is in the sphere with their event they run, right? But how many people act like ones if you drink energy drinks, twos if you don't? There's a fair amount of twos, right? Reasonable amount of ones, but like more twos, interesting enough. But that's to be expected, right? So like, because we've got a little bit of slow game, we can explore it. So, because basically, guys, this is going to be Imperial from DeMu, and Killjardy doesn't have an ability now to push against mass gilded crossbows. So, let's explore a bit. The whole idea is like, and this is an interesting kind of statistical breakdown for you guys. If you're an influencer and you have a 5% conversion rate, as in 5% of your audience will go and buy something, you're a gold mine. 10%, you are the North Star, right? 20%, you're Jesus. So like, if you can get a 5% conversion of your audience into a brand, that's good. The sponsorship should be more than willing to pay for that. But then it also comes down to what sponsor you're looking for. The dream for any particular like streamer is exposure sponsors. Those are the ones that just want people looking at their product. It's baseline marketing. But a lot of sponsors at the moment in the last 2 years have switched over to sales-based performance. They want to see the money make money. I think there's a lot of examples where that's delusional, but I get the logic. It's like tight time in their mind, right? It's like, especially with a lot of the energy drink sponsors you may see on different people's channels, if they're not a billion-dollar company, they are most definitely on either only a commission-based deal, which I think are kind of scammy, in my opinion, unless you truly want the product, or they are basically on a flat fee that's being negotiated month to month based on performance, or quarter to quarter. AMD and Corsair pay me well. So AMD and Corsair, this has been a month integration we've done with them. I'm definitely looking to explore a deeper relationship, but we're coming to a close on this, and this was to provide parts. So between those sponsors, we got $4,500 worth of parts, components for the PC build. So that was the deal there. And that was worth it in my eyes because we're still a growing stream. We still are. And also, I wanted those components, so I was going to have to go buy them anyway. So I didn't mind doing that. So there are some brand integrations that make sense from a, they have something you want, go get it. Like if someone needs a new chair, you might do a shout out for a brand. Those are what we call gifted campaigns. They can be good. They're also a great way, if you know you already want it, to use it as a stepping stone to build a deeper relationship. Like I am very happy with working with AMD, Corsair, Gigabyte, Micron, Kingston, Haven. Like everyone involved in the process has been phenomenal. So my goal now is with like AMD, etc., to now explore a deeper relationship, get them involved in AoE more. Maybe get on their internal teams as one of their ambassadors. Yeah. I think you guys, I don't know, like, I assume you guys like these type of conversations. Fives in chat if you do. I think this is like, makes it very unique, especially in AoE4, probably in general. There's not many creators that talk about these type of things anymore. Devin Nash used to be a phenomenal one, but he doesn't really stream as much anymore. And you know that I know what I'm talking about because I run my own agency. I'm a content creator myself. Esports for over half a decade. So yeah, I know a few things. Can you stream in 4K on YouTube? I've not tried. We did try setting different encoding pacings for two platforms, but OBS didn't like it. My hope is this year, there's an expectation that Twitch is going to be releasing new techs like AV1 and HEVC, which is X265. They are more efficient encoding types, which means that with the limited bitrate you're allowed on Twitch, you could start streaming 1440p or 4K. Hopefully they bring that soon. Because YouTube has an insane bitrate limit. You could stream 4K. Like, the bitrate limit would be high enough. I might try and do it again. We tried last time, and it freaked out on the encoder. And yes, there is a... The weird thing is there is a beta right now for certain creators to use higher bit rates The weird part is I don't know the qualification process. You'd assume it's the biggest people, but I kid you not, I saw a streamer with like 4K total follows who had 5 average viewers streaming in 1440p, while the rest of the directory, with 10 times, 20 times his viewership, was stuck with 1080 or worse. So I'm really not sure. If someone knows someone at Twitch that could direct me, I'd love to get my hands on that, because I'm all about increasing the production quality. You stream with 1440p? Wait, so you have a higher bitrate limit, Crackety? Because there's a difference between being able to stream at 1440p and the bitrate making it look like crap, remember? No, you don't. Okay, yeah. So you can stream, but it'll look like crap, right? That's why I don't stream at 1440p. It would look really bad. So, quick update on what's happening in the game. We've had the hunker down point. Killjadi has gone for the 2TC. DeMu is now stockpiling for Imperial. His army is big enough and scary enough that Killjadi should not be able to dive him. Mass crossbow and mass crossbow here will favor OOTD. The extra range guarantees that. And we even have the Inspired Warriors blessing. Sorry, Inspired Warriors, which is fantastic. Like, this tech is wild. 15% DPS increase on a unit that already has high base damage is crazy. Sometimes Twitch accepts 7K bitrate. You can actually push it closer to 8K. Don't know if you knew that. So I'm currently sitting at 8 to 8,500 kbps. You can actually get a bit more out of that, Crackety. What can I say? That's just the beautiful efficiency of my 7900 XTX. Killjadi. Is there a tech play to be had here? Technically, if you can get Growth Ring, it's like being a mini Order of the Dragon player. The 10% efficiency is rarely seen. More likely, we're going to be seeing the Advisor Wing, just so you can get the Atabegs, which is going to inflate his health to make him feel like a mini Order of the Dragon player. Checking the OBS side, yeah. Like in OBS, you can set your bitrate. So my bitrate is at 8,000 kbps. What we're talking about, guys, is like there's a bitrate limit. If you go too high, Twitch cuts the stream. So you can flirt the maximum, but like if you go beyond it, you're gonna crash out. Like they won't let you stream. The problem is if you don't go beyond that limit, like you can't really do 1440p. It's impossible. It's really bad unless you're playing a static game. This has been a very static game, by the way. We're 21 minutes in. There's been probing, no full all-in. I mean, Killjadi in an ideal world would have loved to have sent it. He just kind of got locked down and slowed down. Hasn't Twitch banned people in the past and revealed how much money they make on the platform? I'm trying to think. They might have a long time ago, but there's no real point in doing that anymore. There's literally people who will, on Twitter, tell you their earnings on all platforms. Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure Twitch hadn't banned people for that detail. It would have been something else they were doing. I think part of it is showing the back end certain platform, like certain screens you should, because by the logic of like, oh, that person showed their earnings, ban them. There's been plenty of streamers that have accidentally leaked their subs, or some intentionally. Man, the Manjani damage. He's killing off the villagers too. Man, these things are insane. Mangoes are trying to creep up here. DeMu, the age up. Killjadi knows he needs to punish, but breaking in here might be problematic. Especially the Mangoes now. Remember, the Inspired Warriors tech does work on Siege. Beautiful little buffer. We do have the trebuchets behind, so that's adding in a lot more damage. He does get the snipe. Killjadi able to start creeping up here. Does need to deal with the other outposts. These only Springles now, so no big threatening cannon. My worry is he needs to find a way of macroing up. It is on the way, and it is going to be the Growth Wing. So remember, that's going to be a 10% buff. That basically makes you feel like a Bastards with a 10% gathering rate plus number 10. Another thing to think about here is, like, long-term, the idea of... What are you playing to? It has to be Horsemen, right? Which means Killjadi needs a lot of farms. He's got more coming in, but he's still going to be under 20 in total count. Get half the $5 have been tabby to talk about? I don't think it has. Considering that Twitch itself has literally got a little thing. If you look below my stream, they'll tell you how many subs we need to reach the next level of the split, right? The partner plus thing. The plus goal basically tells you how far off I am from getting more revenue share. It's really not taboo at this point. I think people that treat it as taboo is like, it's a Western culture problem that people don't like talking about they earn. I'm happily transparent on it. I've literally been transparent with you guys about what I earn from casting. It's not something to be ashamed of. So push coming in, DeMu. It's low crossbows, so it's not going to be the quickest push per se. And we don't have incendiary arrows yet, right? Which is a big deal. The Scuds are helping quite a bit. We're up to 5 Manjaniques. The problem, though, is with these Prelates, it's pretty much offsetting the play, right? It's offsetting that limited damage. Lord, big hits in incendiaries as well. But he needs to get so many of these in. And the good news is this isn't mine work, right? So we haven't got Bodkin bolts. Never see that tech anymore. Never see that play. Gonna start shoving in, though. That's fine on the mangoes. Pushes Kiljadi back. Now, he does have his own Imperial play, but nothing upgraded yet. Crossbow's the primary focus. It'll take a while to get that upgrade in, though. Culverins are also moving in, so the mangoes are starting to fail him a little. Kiljadi now down to 3. DeMu. Good staggered formation, kind of trying to minimize the damage you take here. Now neck and neck on military population, but that does mean that Kiljadi has double the force to push with here. A lot of it is crossbows, which struggles to stick on top of this. DeMu is going to have to fall back. Will not be able to crack this boy open with this push. So good reaction by Kiljadi. I think for DeMu, maybe just kind of skipping a trick here. We don't have Uni, right? No Uni. He forgot, I think. At this stage, he definitely has a gold. It's coming in now. Had he had incendiary arrows in that fight, completely different outcome. He's going to find some workers on the flank. Kiljadi is looking a little bit better on farms now. We're up to 30 farms. So we're starting to get that late game economy in. Of course, for DeMu, we're feeling a little bit better. 21 farms, not as high, sure, but the efficiency of each, much better with the Arkham plus the OOTD. I say it's much better, right? It's... Much is a bit deceptive, right? It's 28% base plus the 50% increase, but your opponent now has a 20% buffer as well. Which has mitigated some of the concern. I bet there's going to be a bidding war for Twitch at some point. The problem is trying to figure out how to fully monetize Twitch. Amazon, I think, still struggles to see Twitch as a profitable venture. I mean, we could dive deeper in this if you really want. There's like a very big controversial issue around the value of advertising right now on Twitch. Because you have to keep in mind this is a platform that has political agendas being aligned, right? You have just chatting streamers that are talking about what's happening in elections, etc. That's scary, controversial, and something that brands don't want to be associated with. So that shrinks the amount of spend that you get and the amount of different ads being ran from brands on the platform. So crossbows on the back. Did actually poke at the farms a little bit, but Kiljadi was able to shift away for the most. A lot of crossbows to be throwing away here for DeMu. Especially considering the lack of long-term gold in this game. For the time being, he does at least have the 8k vein to work with. There was an interesting leak about something that originally Amazon was going to do when they bought Twitch. We highlighted it, I think, the other week. It was an intriguing idea. Imagine you were watching this stream and there was a pop-up that came up that said, enjoying the game, why not buy it yourself? And then it would link to an Amazon page to buy Age of Empires 4. That would have been a very cool integration. And then that could also have benefited creators because there could have been a kickback, like a commission, for converting sales on games. But it never happened. I don't know why it fell through. Still to this day sounds like a pretty smart idea and a win-win. Raid coming in. This could be a big win. I mean, right now we're talking about a very exposed player here. Kiljadi doesn't have the walls up yet. He's been desperately trying to get them up. But it's only palisades. No stone walls all the way across. Only 2 of the 5 sections actually have that proper layer of protection. Thank you for the bits, Cursing. Appreciate you, mate. Reminder, by the way, guys, if all this is outraging you and you think you don't want to give as much money to Amazon, you should probably stop giving Bezos that extra money on the Amazon Prime. I.e., why not use the Twitch sub to give me the money instead? Prime subs, a smart idea. So far, DeMu hasn't really been able to find that big wallop, right? I mean, Horseman is semi-spammable. I say semi because on Rocky River, we see the game is decided more by a lack of wood than gold. The trade posts are pretty easy to work with, but the tree lines quickly can become limited here. Oh, still not complete. Donate directly better? I mean, there is a donate link if people want to use it. So it is definitely always an option for people. My hopes is to hopefully in the next month get a few more brands on board with the channel. And then maybe we'll have ways that can be mutually beneficial to you. Products that you guys want to get your hands on. How much do I want? You know what? I'm not greedy. Yeah, if we can, if you want to give me 2K a month, I'll be happy. Thank you, Mr. Dubai Prince. Faye, that's greedy. You don't ask them how much they got. Push coming in here. There's not that many crossbowmen right now for DeMu. He's switching to hand cannoneers. It takes a long time to actually make this transition occur. Oy, oy, oy. That's a lot of expos from Killjadi in the back. And we also do have adjustable crossbows on the way. However, the front line for Killjadi is gone now. And these horsemen are insanely tanky. 450 HP on each of them. Definitely takes a while to kill just one. Killjadi, it means that he's not actually clearing up the hand cannons. He's getting mopped up by them. Hand cannons hit for 47 damage every 1.12 seconds. Little mini Gatling guns at this stage. DeMu still not able to crack him. Has to back all the way up. Overruns are looking to be targeted. I mean, interesting enough, there's no ballsy play here on the other side. Right, so these horsemen not that tanky yet. Killjadi still needs to get additional attacks. Greased Axles is going to be on the way. Elite Army Tactics just completed. DeMu. This isn't looking good right now. Killjadi, if he can just get on the farms and block the food gathering, this comp is not cheap. It's insanely expensive on food. 240, 200, 120 for each of these. Look at that switch. DeMu. He's trying to go Gilded Archers. Interesting play. With the scale armor, plus the silk bowstrings, you completely outrange and outgun your opponent. I actually like this idea. Definitely very demanding on the wood, and we already mentioned the issues of that long term on this map. No trade coming in from either side, so gold could still be the limiting factor in the end. AU4 Development Fund and Proceed? I mean, we literally have a fund for that as well, by the way. So we have a Patreon, the coffee. The coffee money always goes into new tournaments, show matches, etc. The thing that I'm working on, by the way, there will be a crowdfunding element to it. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. So you might be wondering where's Killjadi's army right now. This is where your parents would probably have you own a goldfish until it dies to explain how life works. Killjadi burned a lot of troopers on that push. Hand cannoneer switch up is intriguing, but slow. I'm also not entirely convinced it's going to feel great into DeMu's own hand cannoneers. Village is also now being raided, and he's just going wide. He understands, like, all the gold veins are north side, right? And in fairness, Killjadi, I mean, he would benefit from segmenting this map more into a corner with stone walls. Or at least maybe just going for the palisade walls. This game is still very unclear as to who's winning, right? I mean, Killjadi spent a lot of troopers getting wiped there, but now he's getting to the quality hand cannoneers. He does have the gold advantage long term with the relics. DeMu is indeed getting trade ready. Okay, so all of a sudden the gold advantage may not matter that much. Killjadi is going into mangoes. Adjustable crossbows are still very strong. It's a little bit weird against OOTD specifically. Just because the health balls are so large on each of their units, right? Doesn't feel like you get that initial kill like you would against normal hand cannoneers. Horseman. Oh, man. He's actually finding the siege. Very difficult to clutch repair against the Gilded Horseman. We do still have the potential, by the way, for Killjardy to go age 5. Right? Trade Wing Advisors would be a really big deal here. Definitely could be worth it. Bazaar, not really something I would expect in Imperial. It doesn't... I don't think Bazaar in Imperial really provides anything you want. Right? Skirmishers at that stage, not great. But Doan, Swordsman, not insane. But getting the 20% increased health on mass horsemen, mass hand cannoneers, even mass spears. Ghoulims as well is another great one. If your opponent can't afford hand cannoneers anymore, 20% extra health on Ghoulims goes hard. Horsemen just keep getting in. If he's quick and get additional mangoes. Oh, he's going to try to pull it down. Just about keeps it alive. This is getting annoying, though. Killjardy, if he just gets these stone walls up, very different looking game, right? Like right now, he's never able to get that push in because he keeps knee-jerk reacting to these flank raids. Bazaar would just eat gold? Yeah. It's, I mean, if you have trade, you don't care, right? But it's still like, what do you do? What do you get from that? It's not like there's an extra unit. Like, imagine if you got a special kind of hand cannoneer unlocking if you went Imperial with it, right? Different landmark all of a sudden. And I wish I could say different type of fight here, but we've seen these before. It's so insane watching these spearmen try to kill Gilded Horsemen. The hand cannoneers are the ones actually doing the killing. Mango Wallop, pretty good one there. DeMu. Just trying to be efficient about the health bars. Mangoes need to retarget, but they're not able to do so in time. So the horsemen are on top of the siege here. That's whole army gone again. An opening to now push through. This is getting a little bit shaky. I mean, Killjardy is on borrowed time here, right? He's still got the gold to work with, but he doesn't have that permanence. He doesn't have trade set up, right? Because he's going hand cannoneers. 5k gold is going to disappear very quick, even when you have the relic buff behind you. That would be siege tech for Ayyubids? Oh, what? You mean the one with the armor, right? When you come out of a siege workshop? Please tell me no. Yeah, there you go, baby. Siege carpentry. 20 melee armor and 5 fire armor for 10 seconds. He does not have it. It is a sad day. Technically, that tech got buffed when they made the Stringwall change, right? Because before it was really bad because Stringwalls would just kill you because there's only melee armor and fire armor. The problem is it's only 10 seconds. It's really, really weak. It's also Gilded Horseman is still murder your ass, right? Like normal horsemen, you put them down to 2 or 3 damage, maybe. But these guys hit for a pretty lofty 38. And that, by the way, is because there's a camel here. Normally, they hit for 42. Wait, is it a shared cooldown between all your siege? What do you mean by that? I thought it was each new one spawning. Oh, wait, no, it's the tech, isn't it? Oh, so you activate it on... Okay. Yeah, 10 seconds is weird. I think... I always thought... So I never see it. I always thought it was new spawning units get it. Because it says upon completion, right? But yeah, I see it now. So you activate it, but it activates all. Yeah. Maybe if it's individually used, Siege Carpentry could be good. That shows how little I've seen Siege Carpentry, and I've cast more games at OE4 than anyone at this stage. And I never see Siege Carpentry. I don't think I've even seen it once in a game. Hey, things are looking pretty stable for DeMu. Killjardy is just pretty much dancing around his own territory with no long-term plan here, right? Like at this point, he is kind of on the clock. Invade is such a slog. Yeah, I've talked about the desire to have like almost super weapony-esque effects. I mean, credit to Myth, right? Giant tornado fixes the problem of no one doing anything. I do sometimes feel as if it would be nice to see more game-ending effects in Imperial. Like units that are capable of wiping quicker. Always a tricky balance though, right? Because the issue... It's kind of similar to why you couldn't really nerf HRE's Archon to be like 20, 30, 40% per age. All you do is you encourage people to go Imperial. It's like if you don't find the correct solution for what reason these units like kill quicker in Imperial, like what the solution to make Imperial faster is, all you end up doing is encouraging people to rush the age. And that's a negative experience, right? Because then the early game doesn't matter more. You want... The perfect RTS is one where early, mid, and late game all matter even. Losses matter, moves matter. All these things matter. I think one big thing for the late game to stop the slogs, it's pretty blatant. You shouldn't be able to queue units up like this when you're popped. I still don't know why we haven't changed this system. Right? Good guy Kiljardi is just like trying to almost not have a back queue, but like, you know, we've seen it so many times. People have 20 Raxes and they have 20 Spim immediately spawning. Now, you could argue that that's the reward for building additional Raxes, but it trivializes the game. It means losses don't really matter the way they should, right? It's very deceptive. By the way, all that talk about sponsors earlier, if people do have connections on sponsors, definitely hit me up. I'm looking to find ways to get more to participate. I mean, the interesting thing is, yes, we run esports events, but like we run esports events in an influencer-esque fashion, which I think for a lot of brands is maybe more valuable currently than like big, bloated, $1 million esports events. All done. It should be fine. Had to wait for a whole production cycle. You're never getting through a castle with emergency repair. I mean, we can address that as it comes to it, right? I don't know. I find usually when you make these type of changes, the resistance is this will become dumb, right? Like, oh, if we nerf Stringles and they don't count mangoes anymore, mangoes are OP. Look at what's happening now. Sure, but the argument I'd make is the direction we're moving in better than what we had? And the answer is yes, right? Finding a new role for Springolds and making it not just a Springald war is an improvement. That doesn't mean the devs are going to get it right in one swing. That's not the goal. The goal is whether we're moving towards an improved version of the game. That's always the goal. Perfectionism is overrated BS. If you're a developer and your goal is to try to make the perfect game on the first bump, you're going to really burn yourself out in the career quick. Now, admittedly, there are devs that would use that as an excuse to not even bother. I.e., let's release our game incomplete and then patch it over time. Unfortunately, welcome to the world we live in currently. But there are ones that also take that the correct way, is like, let's let people do what gaming is about. Playing. Play, discover what works, evolve. That's what we basically talk about all the time with a meta. A meta isn't something you just discover on day one and it's good or bad, right? It's something that you evolve. So this has been non-stop, man. DeMu has just been trying to drag him down for a long time. We're now up to 109 eco kills. Kildardi has desperately tried to wall and wall and wall again. We have additional wood walls coming in, but the stone walls just keep failing him, man. The culverins making it seemingly impossible to get that proper line of defense. Late game is fine? Is it? I think if every game goes Imperial, you got a problem, right? Luckily, we've moved away from that meta, but it doesn't mean there's not room for improvements in it, right? Like I said, the current way that late game works is like, if it's a meat grinder, and the argument is he runs out of resources first. Here's my contested argument then. Why is there so much resource? If you want it to seem reasonable that you can end the game, like, the way it's reasonable is have less safe resource. Have less wood, for example. I've talked about this before, that the idea of like wood, I'd love to see a version of the game where instead of it being 150 wood, it's 100 wood per tree. That's crazy. taking a third of wood off the map. It means you can't just carelessly throw away everything. Like punishment is real at that stage, right? Instead of punishment being real 20 minutes from now, punishment is real 12 minutes from now. That's a huge haircut. Well, let's see who's going to be able to cut whose hair here. Looks like DeMu's ready to give Killjadi a buzz cut, though. This is a lot of hand cannoneers. The mangonels are the really real thing that can carry Killjadi. They're really the only thing. I mean, gilded hand cannoneers buff like this get absurd. Still fun believe that jump from feudal to castle needs some work. It is kind of weird sometimes because it feels like we had a feudal meta for a little bit. But I think we're seeing now just a return to this idea that you do damage in feudal and ending the game requires you to trigger castle. Quite often. It's not impossible to get a GG out of someone in feudal. But if it was very hard to continuously die. But that goes back to the idea that AoE4 is a very defensive RTS. That's the raid coming in again. I've got 124 worker kills. This is getting insane. His food income just doesn't really have the disposable force to it here, right? Mango shots are going to be coming in, but spin count is what? 20 total, 10 in the fight? Horsemen are just so damn tanky. Nice spread as well. The concave from DeMu. They're going to go in. The horsemen on top of the hand cannoneers. Frontliner's already failing him, and Killjadi. Whole army about to get scrapped here. He's taken out a few hand cannoneers, but not really many, right? DeMu being able to maintain the 19 gilded hand cannoneers really is the game breaker. The ball buster that he needs to push forward here. And now Killjadi, we're officially in peril mode. We warned about the gold. We've reached that point. He's on passive gold, no active, no trade. Meanwhile, DeMu, the reason he's been looking so cozy here is 31 traders behind it all. I don't know, mid players like me enjoy late game and hate the thought of finite resources. I get where you're coming from. I was once upon a time that type of gamer. That's why when I was younger, I loved games like Dawn of War. But the reality is you have to balance the systems to make sense. Like Dawn of War and Company Heroes done this in the way that when you have more units in the field, you get less income, so you can't build surplus reserves, right? It's like they thought of an elegant solution, per se, to that. Let's hold a million resources. AoE4 doesn't really have an elegant solution. And AoE4 doesn't really have, and yeah, Warcraft has it as well, you're right. Like, AoE4 doesn't have super weapons, right? Like, if you want to have this type of economy, you have to have super weapons, I think. And Wonders aren't, I've said this before, Wonders to this day, and guys, I am in my 30s. At every stage of my life, RTS has been a heartly part of it. I have never experienced an RTS in which the super weapon is so underwhelming. It starts a 15-minute clock. That's a long time for your super weapon to pay off, you know? It's very bloody expensive as well. You know what? This has been a long bloody game. But I can't help but feel we're starting to reach the conversion point. The win condition for DeMu. Raids before, but now a bit more of a permanent presence here. Ankanir's are going to be a little bit exposed. Spin get pulled fully back. Surprised by that. It's going to send them back in now. Can't let the horseman touch you. Now keep in mind, one thing that like usually makes these type of games harder to end. No full production. DeMu doesn't have additional Raxes, additional archer ranges coming in. The weird thing about Rocky River is the wood starts to kind of go a bit dry. So it makes it very difficult to afford full production. Isn't it the same in AoE2? What, the Wonder Victory? I believe so, yeah. But like, I stand by it. It's kind of underwhelming. Like, you can look at other games that kind of have an obvious solution to this. I'm not saying this that we should be StarCraft, but like StarCraft 2's solution to this late game slog that they have is you have to move out to the map to get resources, right? It's like there is a world in which these problems are solved by just very good map design in AoE4, but that's not always guaranteed. A lot of AoE4 maps that we use regularly in rotation has a lot of safety net to play with. And then there's designs of civs, like things like infinite gold gen, gives you that extra safety bandwagon. Like, if Killjoy didn't have 400 gold income per minute passively for the last 30 minutes, would he still be alive? Pretty sure the answer is no. He'd be boop, 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 flatlined. Go on. And good eyes, DeMu does have 10k wood. This is definitely a situation where you could get the full production. Instead, he's switching into Gilded Knights. He's like, maybe I just need units that are more tanky and quicker to arrive. We also have men at arms on the way. Makes sense, right? Like, your opponent doesn't really have the gold to keep spamming hand cannoneers, so the only play left potentially is archers. Then again, he doesn't have the wood for archers either. So how does Killjoy win this? Landmark snipe? No. Emergency repairs. The obviousness of it, right? Like, this isn't a game where DeMu is being ignorant. Look at his vision on the map. You wouldn't be able to get anywhere near his base before he'd see you. So Killjoy needs to win the fights. Mass Manganiques is probably his best bet. Manganiques and, what, spears, right? Just in case your opponent has horsemen. With enough Manganiques, you can crack their noggins. Even though they have 250 HP, they should still die. DeMu should go for a Sacred Site victory. Well, this is the thing that makes Rocky River a semi-flawed map. I think the one change I'd recommend for Rocky River is every Sacred Site should be in the center passes. It's very deep. It doesn't look deep, but it feels deep to push for. Especially when you are spreading yourself wide diagonally across the map. Push coming in here. Been here before. Someone tells me we're going to be here again. And again. And okay, get your predictions in. How long's the game going to be? Infinite resources can drag out fights, but lack of resources can have the same effect. Well, that's the value of like min-map objectives and the orientation of resources. If the resources are allocated to a position where you can directly fight with each other, it changes the game drastically, right? I'm personally the feeling that I said I'd love to see them adding more mid-map objectives. Another way you could solve the slogger late game, very simple. Sacred Sites resume timer. Change delis so they can't start that condition until they're in Castle Age. But literally have it so that if I capture Sacred Sites for 5 minutes and then it gets decapped for 20, when I come back, it's only going to take 5 minutes. Boom. That's a perfect example how you reward presence instead of inactivity. Oh boy. What's that coming over the hill? That's a monster. Gilded Knights that are capable of 2-hit walloping textile villages. He's hunting deep. He's looking for it all. Let the massacring commence here. Only 2 wallops from the sword required. Killjoy. Last time it was horsemen, easily blockable, easily counterable, but this many Gilded Knights could be the irreparable damage that DeMu's been looking for. Now, admittedly, Killjoy does have 6,000 surplus food in reserve. There's still a hurdle to climb over there. This might give him the push he needs. Does he look to leverage it? Like, right now, DeMu just seems to be interested in more and more knights here. He's sick of the direct fight. Black Prince on horseback in video games. Wait, I just realized how tiny their capes are. It looked like they stole a bib from a baby. It even has a wind effect when they charge. Oh, I can't. Now that I've seen their bib capes, I can't unsee them. They're so tiny. I mean, you know, I always joke that they look like they played for RuneScape and trimmed their armor. They trimmed the cape as well. Oh, God. All right, so DeMu is marched up now. We still don't have full production. Please. For the sake of game end. You'd think DeMu would actually, like, want the game to end quicker, considering it's getting later in the day and Benny Boy does like his sleep. But he's like, Killjotty's an old man too. So, you know, I'll just pour a beer out. I'll feel pretty content about this. Killjotty's going to hate it. Where has this military flood come from? Killjotty, he just spent all the reserves. I mean, this is kind of it, right? Like, you either win this fight and push on in, or you are now scraped clean. 60 villagers only. The count is falling right now. He doesn't have the economy to replace losses anymore. He has mass spears. Mass spears and the hand cannoneers. This is over, man. This has to be. He has traders coming in now. But this feels a little bit too late. No, I think the issue might more likely become food at this rate. Only 32 farmers right now. Meanwhile, for DeMu, mass men at arms, hand cannoneers. Can easily keep affording Gilded Knights if he wants to. He's got a very stable 1,400 gold income. Killjotty does have a push going. But remember, so far we've seen the fights on Killjotty's side, where production's on his side. We don't have a backlog now. We don't have full production. We are reaching DeMu's trade here. And now DeMu also has production on his side. Could be the big blocker. In theory, if he can wipe what DeMu has. Gilded Archers. They do have the silk bowstring, so a lot of range to work with here. Angeniques are looking to stop the Culverin counter here. DeMu needs to lose some units right now. And locked out of getting more things out here. Only one Culverin. I don't know, man. Killjotty out of nowhere. Kind of looked like a desperation play. Could it pay off? Time to find out. The big fight, the big clash. The big finale. Horseman Knights getting around the back here. The Mangoes aren't fighting anymore and they need to assist that front line. Just a handful of Knights in there and the men at arms are just too tanky though. Hand cannoneers, they get through the back line, but they get reached now. And the Gilded Archers are going to mop the floor with them there. Killjotty has spent it all. He's desperately queuing up camel lancers, but that ain't it. No gold, food income that feels underwhelming, and a wood income that feels non-existent. He's got, what, one small tree line left. DeMu may have taken some hits on the traders, but he still has 18 to work with. His own economy has sunk heavily. 46 workers left. But now a counter push. Absurd. 210 worker kills on one side, only 95 on the other. Collectively between them, over 300 murdered, butchered in this game. DeMu may have just noticed the open goal. Killjotty, collective income, what, about 3,000 resources a minute, but most of that in food. Gold, not really where it needs to be. I mean, he's trying to go crossbows, but why? You've got Gilded Archers coming through. Realistically, I get it, right? The men at arms, but DeMu, if he just switches Horsemen plus Gilded Archers, this works. And what is up, Bowles? Thank you very much for the Prime sub. I appreciate you, mate. Welcome to Swarm. Someone moaning about ads there. This is why you subscribe. This game has been an hour long. I couldn't do anything about that. There was always going to be an ad running. Welcome to AoE Gaming. He's in again. This time, men at arms. Camel Lancers are trying to react to it. This is once again going to be a butchering. Farms like to get idled out. Army starting to give way. It took us an hour. And it will take us more. Because DeMu is now on the precipice of forcing a third game here in the quarterfinals. DeMu has been a consistent force for deeper runs so far in this year of midweek musters, but Killjardy always returned to the musters. Looked like a man who couldn't be denied in game number 1. Looks like a man who's just been burning the candle very slowly into defeat in game 2. Why does it only constantly feel like half of DeMu's army is fighting? Because they have so far to run. That plus double pop per military, right? It kind of looks deceptive on numbers. He has also split up to deal with the trade. The range mass left over just carrying this through. We hit the hour mark. Killjardy's like, okay, nap time now. We've been live now for 8 hours. I was like, oh, you know, we'll just do one more set. That'll balance it out really nicely for tomorrow so that we can go in and do Anatan, Dragavan, Voldemort, Scatterbrain, you know, all these other sets, Beat Myriad. Yeah, nice balance. Oh, God, what have I done to myself? We're still going. 8-hour mark on stream and still one more game between these two. This is kind of wild, actually. Killjardy had the Roos for this deciding game, but Roos versus Malians feels a little bit weird. Malians can play Pro Scouts, and they also have counterplays into Horse Archers. You can't play Horse Archers into Javelins, right? So what does Killjardy do? He goes for a classic counter to Malians. Mongols. With the correct spawn and a Rax Rush opening, you can make DeMu's life a living hell. Looking at the spawn, it might be actually what he needs. We've got one pit mine up the north, and then the next one is Fall to the Tree Line. Yeah, DeMu doesn't have a great secondary option here. I'll have to see if he's able to hit fast enough. I mean, realistically, DeMu should get what he needs for attack. The play here, realistically, should be Saharan. Instead, he goes for the Rax Ego Chow. So I've seen this play a lot from the Malians historically. I want to say it's a negative win rate play. It's not that it can't work, it's definitely hard to make it work. The problem with the Donzo play for Rax, you only have 3 trees straggler. That's going to be 150 wood per, 450 total. You spent 150 on the Rax. You still have to add in houses. And then on top of that, these Donzos cost 30 wood each. Now, against a normal spear spam, like if a French player was doing this, granted, it could work. What Mongols do differently is passive stone. They get the extra production rates going. That's what can make this really difficult. It's going well, Emma. I don't know what I'm eating for dinner, but I should be done soon. Shout out to my partner. She's probably cooked me something delicious. I'm going to need it after what could easily be a 9-hour stream. Belly's already rambling again. I don't know. I think this is the type of game that doesn't go that deep, though, right? Either Mongols win early or Malians win late. I mean, a Malian player could technically drag it late, but realistically, Mongols aren't a civ that hangs in there well. Because if you're hanging in there, you're defending, right? For Mongols, it's all about aggression, and we do have that villager pool. 2 Donzos so far. If you can get them quick enough, you can stop the tower altogether. Killjardy, a little bit greedy here. Yeah, and I think he knows it. He backs away with a villager. How awkward. So what was the idea? Wait, is he fake backing? This is a fake back. He's making it look like he gave up on the play. Oh my God. But do you see the straggler tree disappear? That's what I'm wondering, right? From the vision, it's weird. Killjardy. Yep. Old man, wake up. DeMu. What is going on here? What? Okay. This is getting weird. Was this all of a fake back? Is this a bait? Are we about to call Killjardy the Professor? Because these mind games are on a certain X-Men's level right now. Like, in theory, the idea of, like, forcing your opponent to overreact with Donzos and then just going feudal would be cool. But no, Killjardy is legitimately adding in a lot of spearmen here. DeMu's at that point. He had to drop the lumber camp, so it slowed down his production a little bit. Clash is going to come in. Donzo's are more tanky, remember. They have got the melee armor as well, but DeMu, not an efficient pull away there. He was blocking his own retreat. I don't think this is enough from Killjadi. Nowhere near enough. The villager is still trying to look for the opening. This has failed. Oh, this is catastrophic. DeMu gets enough Donzos to guarantee a villager cannot sneak a tower. And Killjadi is just going to have to go for feudal now. I mean, was this part of the plan? Did you want your opponent to build a load of Donzos? I mean, in theory, you can open archers, right? But in reality, now DeMu can just mirror javelins. The only downside, of course, is still the spawn, right? He doesn't have an easy-to-reach second vein, per se. That is going to be an exposure point. But yeah, this is terrible right now. This has gone absolutely not according to plan for Killjadi. You know it's bad when a Malian player is so confident with a win in the fight that he runs his Malian Donzos to your side of the map as a Mongol player. That's when things have gone terribly. Now, upside for him, if he's going to go archers here, he doesn't need gold. So you won't be able to do too much harassment. The TC will protect all. Downside is you're probably going to lose the racks. That is crazy. I can't believe that. It almost feels like it would have been good for Killjadi to just walk away when he had 4 spearmen and wait for DeMu to overreact, right? And just you bypassed H2. And we do have a re-spearman blow here. 12 versus 8. Heavily injured. Okay, so yeah, DeMu will have to run. The Mansa's on the way. It's coming in quicker than the Deerstone. Malian King was the richest individual ever lived on Earth. Yeah, like when you adjust for inflation, he was one of the richest. Another one that I believe is in the top 3 or top 5 would have been Marcus Crassus, right? He was probably the richest Roman to ever live. Beastie gets that much by string. Yeah, he's... Beastie is the real Malian king. When he said he was the Malian king, you all had the wrong idea. It's not because he played them a lot. It's because he's rich. He lives in a golden mansion in the middle of Serbia. He can afford a business internet line more than I can. Rich. Okay, so Killjadi, are you kidding me? He's actually coming back for the outpost rush. After all this. And DeMu switching into archers, but that's slow, right? He didn't keep scaling the Donzos. This is so almost, I want to say brain dead that it's good, right? It looks so obnoxiously silly the way this is played out. But the Zerg is real. We've seen this earlier today, if you guys remember in the B series. He just flooded through crap tier units. The counter quality archers just wasn't good enough to clean him fast enough. It's the same thing here. So Outpost is definitely going to be going up. We now have Musafadi being added in by DeMu. Oh my god, I can't believe he's done this. I mean, you have to back up soon, right? But the outpost is complete. Garrison inside, walk away. You know, Killjadi, like, for you, mate. Why are we leaving? Why not just build archery ranges here and then you'd have your units in the fight? Pretty smart, right? You've even got an Uvu right here that you could turn into a double production chain. I mean, just spitball them, but plan seems simple to me. No proxy base, though. Instead, a long walk home. And now, an outpost aura to kite and play with. No pro scouts. We are just going to have deer gathering. I like this. I don't think Mongols are great at pro scouts. They can pro scouts, but that's like any civ in the game can pro scouts, right? Should you, is the real question. Insane. And this, is this just fast castle? It could well be. DeMu's in a bit of a weird predicament. This game is so off course, we can't see pro scouts from him either. He's eating the cow, right? It's gone on so long, he ran out of food. And because of the pressure of the Mongols here, it wasn't like he was able to go out and secure the deer, right? The walls aren't in yet. Let's also keep in mind that Killjadi's getting payday here, right? The pit mine, the houses, like all this is bounty. Money. 50 50 resources per, which is a great bargain for both players involved, considering that DeMu only spent 25 wood per house. We do have javelins on the way. Correct read is Killjoy is going into archers. So he's just kind of assuming the next phase of the plan here. Killjoy is a good guy, you know? He respects a hard day's work. He doesn't overwork his people. He lets them have a coffee break before moving out. We do at least have the backup gold vein, so DeMu getting the necessary juju to get this push going. It's going to be extra cattle to eat in, and then javelin spam as well. I mean, do you not just go Castle Age here? Castle Age with step readout, right? I mean, if you blob enough archers, Kurotai is also justified. And yeah, like, to the whole point of, like, Elon Musk being one of the richest, you really need to kind of equate the logic of inflation. So, I think sometimes we forget that, you know, like, what, 30 years ago, you could buy a reasonably sized house in the UK for, say, 40,000 or something like that, right? Now, like, that would cost you 240,000. Like, inflation is crazy, guys. It's insane. Just think about how much you pay for a chocolate bar now compared to, like, 10 years ago and then 20 years ago. And yeah, there's definitely richer people than Musk. But also, the other thing that I always kind of highlight these type of things is like saying that... Yeah, so, by the way, when I say you can buy a house in the UK for like 240k, also depends on where you buy it. In the north, it'll be much cheaper, right? But the other thing you have to keep in mind is like, you know, if someone's worth 400 billion because of the stock value of the company, well, it doesn't mean they can immediately muster 400 billion worth if they sell it all, right? Because buy sell demand, right? Supply demand. If no one wants to buy it, then it's not worth that, right? And the more you sell of it, the lower the value goes. Like, yeah, sure, if you had like 30 years and the value always went up, you could muster 400 billion like that. But Killjoy is looking pretty rich though. Found the resources to go up into castle. Kurotai's on the way. Yeah, didn't even think about the step readout. It's quite tempting when your army's smaller, but this just means archers can contest javelins. Problem as well, because DeMu wasn't ready. Third ranch is set up. Still hasn't got the Fulani. Hasn't even got the resources to tech up, and this means that Killjoy, he could just stockpile, go straight into the prayer tent and go for shamans. And like, also, the person that's like 240k must be nice. You commented in dollars. I'm assuming you're American. Y'all can make a crap ton more money than me. Trust me, I know as a developer. People in your country doing a comparative job in development would be paid 4 times what I'd be able to get. No cap. Three times if you make the comparison between like London and San Francisco. I think the sad part is just the general cost of goods. Kind of got out of control. I used to work as a developer, so I am a computer games design graduate, former blue chip software developer. But I actually haven't opened any sort of programming software. I guess I've done like some light CSS or whatever, but like proper programming I haven't done in 8 years? Almost 8 years. I guess it's 7 to be more accurate. Alright. Blitz time. Killjoy, not really a man known for his patience, and I imagine he's feeling a bit impatient after that hour-long game. Break through the wall, and march into the base here. Kurtai getting ready to deploy. He needs to stop that from happening. This is big. If it goes up, doesn't get the Musafadi in position. Gold now to be idled out. Maneuver speed arrow is going to get activated. That's going to be a chase down. He's going to have to defend this. He's at least going to be outranged the Kurtai, so maybe a fight that DeMu could take. But the veterancy of the archers is already in, and DeMu hasn't even got the resources to go castle. Killjody's got him bent over a barrel right now. This is bad. DeMu technically could afford the tech up, but would not have much gold to work with. He needs to sort the food as well on top of that. And also, he's probably feeling like he needs to eat more cow just to feel good. He's rushing berries to try and remain competitive here. It's an attempt to poke at the Kurtai, but the damage not really substantial. And love this from Killjoy. The gaps in the fights, right? Allows him to rejuvenate the injured. Allows him to get paid with the bounty. Just puts him economically further ahead. Man, this is an uncomfortable game. I can't believe the way he doubled down after that opening. I mean, that opening, for most Malian players, seeing what happened to Killjoy there, I imagine something along the lines of DeMu saying, oh, this is easy. Not that he's insulting the player. He knows Killjoy's very talented, but we've seen so often when that initial rush fails, Mongols are a ghost of a Civ. They don't exist. They feel irrelevant. It makes you feel like you could have picked any other Civ and felt better. But that double down, the balls on this man in an elimination game. Just whip that out last second like that was crazy. Now, he's starting to reach the economy. The push is becoming more permanent. The house is going to be targeted. Oh, this is so painful, man. You're just paying your opponent to come into your home. It's like someone has come in and vandalized your house, and you're literally paying them. Payday is crazy. The amount of burn power here. It's like 2 torch throws, and he gets paid 50 resources. I mean, at this stage, it's totally worth going for the improved bounty system. 350 resources, it would have paid for itself twice over by now. Instead, he just wants to keep the Zerg pump going. Grand Fulani now on the way. Textiles as well. DeMu is very paranoid about a dive here, and he should be. There's not much to stop his opponent walking the Kurtai up here and diving. Oh, actually, there is something stopping him. He loves money. Food and gold for days. Love the way that Killjoy's played the map as well. Just tapping it fully, right? This has saved him so much resource because he didn't go pastures. Just play berries, boar, anything you find, living off the land. Kurtai just keeps freely being able to move closer and closer here. Tech up's complete. However, no. The veterancy, I don't think it's going to be quick enough here. Oh, hold on a sec. Killjoy dives instead. He sees the villagers. He comes from both sides. Ironically, the Malians are now the nomadic people. Well, they better be as rich as history told us, because they need to buy safety and solace in someone else's kingdom. And he has hit pay dirt here. Killjoy, armor arrow does get activated. The veterancy came through for DeMu. It's stand your ground or die. The villagers aren't even working right now. Donzo count. And still 16 of them. In theory, good enough. Kurtai isn't here, but the second wave of archers is coming through. They were actually on the pit mine. They're going to find the workers. The fight looks like it's going to be an even exchange. Both of them grounded down to 0, but the difference is this second group of archers. Second wave coming in. It's just going to keep hunting him till the ends of the earth. Tell him this fight. It's only javelins left over. What an insane series. I mean, that game too. A slog to even get the win on the board. Kind of the pattern there, right? DeMu game go very long. Killjoy game very quick. Game 1, pre-20 minutes, really done. Fear finished at what, 21? Pre-20 minutes in this one. Looks done. That means that Killjoy will be the second person through semi-finals we're going to see here so far today. A big shout out to Caladian, the Prime resub. Remember, guys, get those subs in at the start of the month. You have to manually use them every single month, and definitely the place to do so if you like midweek tournament action, because we got you covered every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. A wonderful start to the week this has been. Absolute treat of a set. DeMu is just trying to see if he can out-finesse with micro, but Killjadi's got his A-click on. Won't really be denied at this stage. So DeMu, another week where the results stop him from getting too deep. This time, a more expected outcome. Killjadi with the 2-1 victory.